I did forget to also start the Instagram and the TikTok because those are very important platforms. So welcome back to the Alchemist Nation 52 Weeks to Wealth. I think, show of hands if you think we need more juice to that. Was that too chill? Was that too calm? I'll give this another shot. Let me just warm myself up. Welcome back, Alchemists. This is Wealth Principle 27 and 28 today. We've been going through these wealth principles a little bit faster than we normally do. Every year we do the 52 Weeks to Wealth for one reason and one reason only. It's because we want to make more money and do less work. Show of hands if you're still down for the cause. That's more money and less work. Excellent. So the intention behind this is so that we can have better lives, better quality lives. And these 52 wealth principles didn't just manifest out of nowhere. They've been around forever. I didn't create them. I just found them. In fact, all I did is really just organize them. And you've been through probably a bunch of books. Show of hands if you've read a lot of books, a lot of principle-based books, secret-based books, books that have the title or the words rich in them. Get rich, be rich, think rich, grow rich. We've all read these books on mindset. We've read these books on real estate. And every one of them has something like this: 3 secrets to success, the 17 principles of money, the 5 laws of gold, or something of the kind. And if you add them all up and you start stacking all of these different ideas together, it comes out to be close to 104 ideas, 104 principles, 104 concepts. And when I was living in Las Vegas, I took 90 days, took 3 months to consolidate all the different books I'd read at the time and all the different principles that I'd learned from my coaches, from my experience as an investor, as a business owner. And I put it all together. And I realized 104 was too big. So fans, if you recognize that's a lot of principles, it's way too much. So what we did is we combine them and condense them so that we could review one principle per week. And that's what the 52 Weeks to Wealth are. It's our process for going through and doubling our income every single year. And we do it primarily through real estate because, as you know, real estate builds 90% of millionaires. So 90% of millionaires are built through real estate. Show of hands if you're okay with doing what the average millionaire does. It's the only average we want in our lives, the only average or normal thing that we want. We want to be normal rich, right? Normal successful, normal healthy, normal wealthy. And so we follow these principles and these strategies that other people already figured out for us, because we're very much in line with leverage. We want other people to do things. We want other people's time working for us, other people's knowledge working for us, other people's money working for us. Show of hands if you know what OPM means. Drop it in the chat. What does OPM stand for? If you know, then, well, you know. Drop it in the chat for us. So these principles, they're not just about getting rich. They're also about avoiding some problems. And one of the biggest problems that we have in society is distractions. This device in front of you, this camera, it can be the phone, or it could be your family, it could be your kids, it could be the weather or the news. There's distractions all over the place, constantly bombarding our minds and taking us away from doing tasks that are really important. In fact, social media has to be one of the most distracting systems or devices or applications out there in our life today. Most people spend anywhere between 2 to 3 hours on social media and they get nothing done. After those 2 or 3 hours are spent, they think, what did I do? I feel guilty for not doing anything. Show of hands if you ever felt guilty for getting nothing done because of social media. Just, the time suck, the YouTube wormhole, right? The Twitter, the TikTok portal, the Netflix and chill, where hours and hours are just gone, just your brain getting massaged to sleep, basically put to sleep and relaxicated, and sometimes anxiety-ficated, right? The news, the horror movies or the films, the things that people are looking and putting in front of you to distract you from the truth, which is that you are an individual, a human being who's capable of significantly more. And today's wealth principle, the first one, we're actually going to do 2 today. And the reason we're doing 2 is so that we can move faster and all line up at the 100 Millionaire Summit for Wealth Principle 52. We're going to do Wealth Principle 52 in person, and it's going to take us 3 days. Wealth Principle 52, if you're new to it, is sharpen the saw. So for 3 days, we're going to do the most powerful thing we can do all together, and we're going to work on sharpening the saw, improving our skill set. So this principle, Wealth Principle 27, is steadfastness of faith. It is I'm going to show you how to get the tools so that when something happens to you in your life, you don't have the flimsy mindset that you may have had in the past. Show of hands if you can see my camera, if the camera's on screen. Excellent. So when you think of your life, think of it as possibly a tree. Your entire life one day will be just a big piece of wood that is on the ground, dead. But for now, you're alive, you're growing, you're choosing your direction, you're taking in information, you're taking in resources, you're following the sun, you're following your goals. And if you stay focused, you can go up pretty straight and have a really good life. But if you're all over the place, you may end up getting some weird angles. So steadfastness of faith, this comes from knowing what seeds you want to plant so that you can get the results that you're looking for, and then staying focused on that path so that you can actually eventually see that straight rooted plant that is you and your life. Show of hands if you're committed to having some faith in yourself. Times where you lacked faith. I want to point this out before we dive into how to create or cultivate faith. Times where you lacked faith were moments of indecision, moments where the world hit you pretty hard. If you think back to a time where you were impacted very, very aggressively in the world, it was probably because you stood still and didn't quite make a decision. You didn't move fast enough. You didn't move forward enough. You didn't take action quickly or steadfastly enough. And in those situations, we miss out on opportunities. Show of hands if real estate investors are probably more prone to this than anybody. We're constantly given opportunities to invest, opportunities to speak, or opportunities to have a conversation with somebody. And a lot of times we'll just be flimsy in our conversation or not even show up. Who is guilty of not showing up to the conversation before? Not making the phone call, not making the text, not getting in the room, not going to the networking event. We've all done it because for some reason we lost faith. We lost faith in our vision, lost faith in where we were going. And so if as human beings, and none of us are free of this. Show of hands, we're all guilty of this at some level. Like none of us are perfect. We all will lose faith on some level. So what if I told you there was a secret to keeping it? What if even though we're human, we can improve ourselves to the point where that's no longer an issue? The faith becomes a little bit stronger. Imagine you able to know where you're going every single day so that every decision you make moves you forward. Just like that tree that wants to go straight up, you make the right decisions every day. You don't follow every single distraction that comes along the way. We're going to cultivate some faith today. So I'm going to ask for your permission as we move forward to this next session to just keep an open mind, grab out pen and paper, and let's dive into this together. So we're going to give you 3 action steps today that you can take today in this weekend to cultivate faith. And as we get into, 4th of July is next week, you're going to be spending some time with family. You have some opportunity to talk to people. So number 1, practice daily affirmations. And I will share a few with you in a little bit. Practice daily affirmations to reinforce your belief in your abilities and your financial goals. Daily affirmations, like the one that Michael Shine shared with me a long time ago, here's one that I love. It says, large sums of money come to me easily and effortlessly that I get to keep, use, and invest, and some other words in there. But the idea was that affirmation stayed in my head for like over and over, said over and over, said over and over. And I started manifesting large sums of money. In fact, I think Ron just texted me yesterday. He said, we're going to be pulling another $500,000 this month is what we already have on the docket. Show of hands if $500,000 is a lot of money. To some people, it feels like a lot of money. To me, it's starting to feel like just large sums of money, just a normal sum of money that comes through. Because last month, I think it was it was like 360,000. The month before was like 380,000, something like that. And we just kind of got to the point where there was 105,000 in the bank account. And now it's going to go a little over $1 million, although we've already invested some of that. Show of hands if you're an investor and keep your money moving also. So it's easy for me to have faith because I'm seeing it. But before this happened, before those dollar amounts came in, I was just listening to affirmations. And now Let me qualify. Let me clarify. I was not just listening to affirmations. I was busting my ass having conversations with people. I was talking to people. I was moving the game. I was pushing out into the world. But in my mind, I always knew that large sums of money were coming to me. And we have affirmations within Alchemist Nation that are really useful. Show hands if you'd be interested to see some of those affirmations a little bit later. All right. So when I get to Wealth Principle 28, I'll share some of them with you as well. So whatever your affirmations are, my suggestion is use the Alchemist Manifesto. It is a powerful set of affirmations. If you're at the 100 Millionaire Summit last year, you already have access to it. And if you're on Alchemist Nation, if you go to the website, I just posted the affirmations this morning. So you have access to our Alchemist Manifesto as well. Even if you haven't joined any of our programs, don't worry. We want you to be successful, and we're willing to help and give a little bit away for free. So number 2, surround yourself with positive and supportive individuals who uplift and inspire you. I'll say that one more time. Surround yourself with positive and supportive individuals who uplift and inspire you. There are a lot of people out there. In fact, last time I checked, we're getting close. We're creeping up to 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion people. Some are good, most suck. And I want to be very clear when I say that. The world is becoming better. People are becoming better. People are becoming more positive. But at the present moment, it is a lot easier to throw a rock and find somebody who is depressed, sad, angry, fat, divorced, overweight, frustrated, not happy, ignorant, or just downright mean. Show of hands if you've ever had that experience. If you went looking for mean people, you wouldn't have a hard time finding them. Excellent. Now, the truth is, there's also a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people who have positive mindsets, who have financial wealth. In fact, there's a lot of rich people on the planet. There's a lot of millionaires on the planet. Show of hands if you know that to be true. The thing is, millionaires make up 5% of the planet, which means 95% of the planet are not rich. So just make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are positive and supportive individuals, even if they're not rich. And by the way, not all positive people are rich. Positivity does not just breed profitability by itself. Profitability comes from people who are focused on building wealth. So if you want wealth, surround yourself with people who also want and will work for wealth, because there's a lot of people out there who want wealth, but they'll take wealth from other people. So fans, if you understand, the world has takers too. And there's matchers. You can never make money with matchers, by the way. I want to be very clear. If you have to give to get with a matcher, you always ever have this. It's called a 1-for-1. Takers, you will never have anything, because takers, as soon as you give them, they take, and you go down and they stay here, about here, but usually they come down with you. So when you're out in the world and you're surrounding yourself with positive people and you're surrounding yourself with financially intelligent people, you want to surround yourself with people who are givers, people who also give. So when you give to them, they also give, and you are able to come up and climb up together. When givers give to each other, they don't lose, because they're bartering opposite skills. They're trading things of value. So when givers give, it actually builds a step ladder upward. Show of hands if you've seen that. You can understand how that would work. Matchers will keep you right where you are. So if you stayed stagnant for some time, pro tip, you might be surrounded in matchers. If your wealth has not increased, if your happiness, if your health has not increased, you may be surrounded in matchers. And so that's a very important thing to look at. If you have seen your life diminishing, going down in happiness, going down in income, going down in value, it is possible that you have some clingers on, some takers in your life, and that is necessary to cut. Yes, their feelings will be hurt because you're cutting their income. You're cutting their source of happiness. Yes, it will be frustrating to them, but you will find much great peace on the other side. And also, side note, some sort of addiction. There'll probably be some sort of missing of that pain of that person. So just be careful as we're deepening our strength in what we're doing. As you're shifting your personality, the people that you're hanging around with, there'll be some conflict. It'll be good though. So number 3, take calculated risks and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. When you're looking to keep your faith, don't take big risks. Take small risks. Take calculated risks. Over time, you're going to discover that those little risks become big risks to other people, but they're going to always remain small, calculated risks to you. Start small with the risks that you take. Do not just jump into an investment with all of your money that you don't understand, right? Mike and Mitchell testify to this, right? We've We've seen people do this. They have no money. They'll take all of it and roll it into something they don't understand. And then they lose the money, and then they complain that investing doesn't work. Investing does work. You just didn't do the work. You just didn't evaluate the business well enough. You didn't evaluate the asset well enough. You didn't evaluate the piece of real estate well enough. So, fans, if you understand, calculated risks and embrace the challenges as an opportunity to grow. Small risks, small wins will build your level of faith inside of you. So in order to cultivate faith, you must first go and take action to prove to yourself that you're somebody who gets the job done. So if you've done something impressive in your life, something that is shown to yourself that you are capable of doing things. Excellent. So I want you to write one of those down, just one of those things down recently, a recent win that has really impressed you, that you know for sure that you're very good at moving the direction you want to move, whether it was a conversation, whether it was a new relationship. I'll just give you a quick 10 seconds to write a thing down. You don't have to go into detail, right? A picture says 1,000 words. If you need to draw a little picture, do that. Excellent. Get that written down. And I want you to focus on that throughout the rest of this week. Every day, just write down something new that you've improved, something that you've crushed. And we're going to shift into the next wealth principle. Before we do, though, book of the principle. There's 2 books this week because we're doing 2 principles. So Wealth Principle 27, the book is The Wealthy Gardener. I think Michael Shine, this is one of his literal favorite books. So let's give our holistic attorney, the closer, the keeper of the books, Michael Shine, a big round of applause.
Yay. Thank you, Gualter. You are correct. This is one of my absolute favorite books. It's called The Wealthy Gardener. And I will point out that the subtitle is Life Lessons on Prosperity Between Father and Son. Women, you are not excluded. It just happens that the father was telling his son about wealth principles. And this is a great one for this. I realize why we chose it, Gualter, because the story revolves around 2 stories, an old wealthy gardener and his money principles, which are brilliant, sort of like Richest Man in Babylon, except for more detailed. I love stories. This is a great story, but you get 2 stories for the price of one, because while you get the wealthy gardener, you also get the writer who is a chiropractor. And he's talking to his son who's in college about writing this book and what lessons that they together think. So this book has a ton of heart to it, but it also talks about something that's near and dear to me, which is that you create your own reality. And when you create, in this book, the chiropractor moves into a new town and has no business. But instead of going out and whining and dining people and spending a lot of money on advertising and doing all sorts of external things, he does the internal work. He meditates, he goes into the silence and that kind of stuff. And because of that, his business, the phone just magically, and I believe in the magic, and his phone magically starts ringing off the hook. And he's in a new town, he starts getting tons and tons of clients, and his business just grows like crazy. And from a personal standpoint, when I read this book, I was doing that with my title company here in Rhode Island, and I was looking for more closings. So I said, oh, I'll give it a shot. So I started meditating. And do you know that people started calling me that had no idea where these closings were coming from? It was magic. And so if you want some magic, read this book, The Wealthy Gardener. You can also listen to it on Audible. No shame in Audible. But as Gualter said, this is one of my absolute favorite books. It's got a fun story to listen to, and it's just, yeah. It could take a whole principle all by itself. So yeah. Thank you.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. It is a fantastic book. To you, each alchemist, wealth builders. Remember that what happens up here is the game. Stay steadfast in your faith that you are the one. You are the person who's going to change your economy. The economy outside does not matter. Remember, I have made more money this year than I have made in my entire life. So if you're not making money, something is going wrong up here. Because, by the way, the actions you take, I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how hard you sweat. I don't care how tired you are at the end of the day. If you are not as rich as you'd like to be, you did not do something right up here. Because if you put the right actions into the world, you'll be more successful. And it usually is picking up the phone and calling someone. Now, it's not calling just anyone, right? If I called the door greeter at Walmart, I'm probably not going to make any more money. But if I call the manager at Walmart, there's a good chance they may know somebody higher up in Walmart who has some money that could invest in one of our deals. Show of hands, if you understand, the level of income changes as you go up the ladder. So we're going to dive into this next wealth principle. I just want to keep that in mind, that you are in the right place, that your faith is in the right place. So now, as a alchemist, let me remind you, welcome back to the wealth principle 28. This principle is learning to love dealing with large amounts of money and the people who have it. Show of hands if you understand that large amounts of money are something you commonly deal with as an alchemist, right? You touch people who have a lot of money. We do not deal with the poor. It is not our problem. It is not our responsibility. We focus on those who have money and we serve them. Now, naturally, we care about the poor. True or true? That's what charity is for. We send our money to charities. We invest in charities. Totally cool. But when it comes to making money, my business is based on serving people who want more, who have more, who are motivated, who are looking to change their lives, who are looking to get to that next level. I cannot afford to work with people who do not want more. And you have to be the same way. If you're looking for property, if you're looking to invest in a market, you have to have tenants who want that unit. If they don't want the unit, there's a tendency for them to just leave or not pay. Show of hands if you heard of people not paying before. Stick with motivated people. People who don't have money can't pay rent. I don't like tenants who don't have money. I do not like tenants who do not like to pay rent. So we choose to only work with people who have money. This is not a charity, right? We donate to charities. I think that's a great idea. 10% of your income should go to charities, but the majority of your income needs to go back into reinvesting in businesses that make sense. So what you see on the screen, wealth principle 28, learn to love dealing with large amounts of money and the people who have it. Here's an example of somebody who has large amounts of money and embodies this mission. Vinny Chopra manages $1.6 billion worth of real estate. Right now, he has two $100 million funds that he's raising capital for. That's two. That's not just $100 million fund. That's two. And he's leveraging those $100 million funds to make $1 billion worth of assets, to acquire an additional $1 billion worth of assets, which will make his asset collection around 2.6 billion. Joe fans, if you understand, he's got control of large sums of money. In those two funds, he's talking about raising $100 million of other people's money. And he's already raised $300 million of other people's money. That's large sums of money. This group right here, these are actually, many of them are millionaires. These are millionaires from the 100 Millionaire Summit last year. We took this picture right in front of the stage, on the side in front of the stage. You can actually see one of the screens out there. You can actually see Stephen Bieber. There he is. There's Kim Rodriguez. You've got Melissa. You got Melanie. Mark is behind me. Steve is there. Ken Hoffman's there. These are all alchemists from Alchemist Nation who are absolutely crushing it in the game. This is going to the idea of surrounding yourself with people who are successful, who are moving forward, who are doing things, who are shaking and taking action. So we're going to do an action step for how to expand your network and your influence with high net worth individuals. Show of hands if that's important to you before I give you any of the tips. Would you like to be talking to, spending time with, dealing with large amounts of money and the people who have it? Show of hands if you're okay with loving people who have a lot of money. You're okay with rich people? Love rich people? Well, if you do, then you might end up being one of them. Because imagine this. Imagine your mind doesn't love rich people. Why would it ever want to become one? That sounds insane, right? This is straight out of the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, is where this principle comes from. He talks about the need to love the people you want to become. But in Science of Getting Rich, he talks about focus on the best, surround yourself with the best, and you'll become the best. But imagine if you do not want to be rich. Imagine if you don't feel good about rich people. Imagine if you don't love rich people. Well, it might be really hard if you think they're evil. Because show of hands if you've heard somebody say rich people are evil. That shit's out there, right? It's a sickness in the world. A lot of people think rich people are evil. A lot of people think that the more money you make, the worse you get. But I have found the more money you make, the more drinks you buy, the more cigars you buy, the more food you buy for other people. It just seems like you just spend a little bit more money. It doesn't seem to be a function of how good you are. It just seems to be a function of how many drinks you can buy for how many people. Show of hands if that makes sense. That doesn't seem to be anything other than what you're capable of doing in this world. Money just seems to be a source of power or a source of influence. So one of the things that we can do to expand our network and our influence with high net worth people is attending networking events and conferences where high net worth individuals gather. And I know this because we're Alchemist Nation. We're all about networking. We're all about putting ourselves in the right rooms. In fact, we run rooms, right? We have over 40 events running across the country right now for business and real estate professionals who have high net worth. These are business owners. The landlords that we invite are not just property owners. These are property owners who own more than one house, which means they don't live in one of their houses. So we focus on high net worth individuals and serving and solving their problems because, let's face it, high net worth individuals have high net worth problems, which means they have more money to solve them. Show of hands, we understand the math here. So in order to surround yourself with high net worth individuals, you can put yourself into events where high net worth individuals are hanging out. And my suggestion is become one of them. Don't just go in there trying to take from them. You want to go in there and be like, I'm one of you and I'm going to become one of you. How do I help you get richer? How do I help you get happier? How do I help you get to that next level? Show of hands if you can commit to supporting high net worth individuals, loving their success, loving what they're doing. Excellent. There's a good chance, by the way, if you love them, they'll love you. Who's noticed that? Right? As within, so without. If you put it out there, you will also receive it. I said this often in some of my other trainings that if you want love in this world, if you're feeling desperate for love, you feel like you're missing love, then put out some love. Go love somebody. If you want to hug, go hug somebody. If you want to smile, go smile, and somebody will smile back. Show of hands, you've seen that before. People tend to reciprocate. It's the law of reciprocity. Excellent. Number 2, engage in meaningful conversations and actively listen to understand their needs and goals. That sentence, like Mike Stein was just talking about the previous book, that sentence could be an entire course and most people would still miss it. That one condensed sentence could be an entire lifetime of education and a person could still miss it. And I will say it again, engage in meaningful conversations. Do not talk about the weather. Nobody gives a shit about the weather. You know what it will do again tomorrow? The same thing it did for the last decade, century, thousands of years. In fact, for the last 10,000 years, the weather's been about the fucking same. Show of hands if you understand. You're not making money talking about the weather. Talk about your business. Talk about your goals. Talk about where you're going, what you do. And then second part of that sentence, actively listen to understand their needs and their goals. Actively listening. Actively listening, by the way, most people don't understand this, so I'm going to share, is nodding. It is engaging. Oh, wow. Your daughter went to school at this college. Very cool. What did she think of it? How was that experience? Actively listening is engaging in the conversation. What are your favorite types of investments? Oh, I like Tesla. Like if I were to have this conversation with Mike, he'd say, he invests in Tesla and real estate. And he does lending. He puts out his money on the street. Very cool. How'd you get to that? Well, I have a billionaire mentor. He would go down this path. And now I would learn more things about Mike. And then he and I could have a real conversation because I'm actively listening. And I could ask him something special like, Mike, what are your goals for this year? And then he would tell me. Show of hands if you understand. If you have somebody else's goals, you can help them. All right? If you don't have their goals, you're taking guesses. You're shooting in the dark. Absolutely. And the third is continuously educate yourself on financial matters and investment strategies to establish credibility. If you want to hang with high net worth people, you must continuously educate yourself on financial matters. You must continuously educate yourself on investments, the strategies that make them work, the strategies that fail. And you must establish credibility. That's a screenshot. If you have your camera out or you're able to screenshot the screen, that right there, take the screenshot. You have my full permission. I want to see this in your life become who you are. Somebody who loves hanging out with high net worth individuals, somebody who spends the time with them. And I told you I'd give you something for free. So to give you the Alchemist Manifesto. This is it on the screen. If you want to take a screenshot of that as well, I'll share with you why these affirmations are so powerful. These were built by Doug McGurk, who studied with Tony Robbins for years and years. And for 3 years, he taught Tony Robbins courses with Tony Robbins as one of his coaches. And this Alchemist Nation manifesto goes like this. And it's designed to move you forward in a powerful way. And yeah, Mike Shine, you're right. A lot of us have the manifesto in our wallets. All right, we got at the 100 Millionaire Summit. So if you're at the summit this year, Deborah, I see yours. So we carry these right here in our wallet, so we have access to them at any time. So for those of you who don't, I just posted an article on Alchemist Nation with the manifesto. You can download it, you can print it, you can laminate it like we have. The affirmations are this: I am an alchemist. Everything I touch.
Gualter,
Go ahead.
I hate to do this because I don't want to interrupt your flow.
You are interrupting my flow.
But your reading it is not going to be near as powerful if they read it with you.
Okay, mute your mics, and then you can read it with me. I like that. Let's give Stephen Beaver a round of applause. So as we go, I am an alchemist. Everything I touch turns to
Can't
gold.
see it yet. Got to pull it back up.
Oh, because you don't have it. I see. Yes. Let's give Stephen Beaver one more round of applause.
And actually give us a second to say it after you say it. So,
Say it with me. You're gonna say it after I
responsive,
say it?
like in church.
like
Responsive
in church.
reading.
Oh man,
Yeah.
now we're the church of success. Let's get it. All right, show of hands if you can see it on the screen. All right, church is in session, ladies and gentlemen. Reverend Gualter at the stage. So repeat after me. I am an alchemist.
I am an alchemist.
Everything I touch turns to gold. I take massive action to create massive passive income.
I take massive action to create massive passive income.
I am a millionaire.
I am a millionaire.
There.
I create millionaires.
I create millionaires.
I invest in myself and my talents.
I invest in myself
and my
and my
talent.
talents.
I invest in my business.
I
I
invest
invest in my
in
business.
business.
I invest in my network.
I invest in my network.
network.
My network is my net worth.
My network
Network
is
is
my
my
network.
net worth.
I seek out and take advantage of opportunities.
I seek out
and take advantage of
of
opportunities.
opportunities.
I live in a state of gratitude as I am grateful for all I have now and will receive.
I live in a state of gratitude
So
as I am grateful for all I have now and will receive.
that I will receive.
I track my net worth and celebrate its growth.
I track
My
net
net
worth
worth
and
and
celebrate
celebrate its growth.
I attract everything I desire and need to succeed.
I attract everything
I
I
desire
desire and
and
need
need to
to
succeed.
succeed.
I love myself and I love my life.
I
I
love
love myself and I love
my life.
my life.
I am an alchemist.
I am
Am an alchemist.
happiness.
Yes.
Let's give everybody a round of applause. Great job. And thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Mike, for the idea of the pause. The Alchemist Manifesto, again, was created by Doug McGurk. He put so much intention in it. Every one of those words is positively focused towards your personal development, to empower you, to identify you as somebody who goes forward and takes action, right action, moral action, with a state of gratitude, constantly moving you forward, with steadfastness of faith that you are somebody who improves the lives of others and who deserves to have your own life improved. Now, every week we do a book of the week. And since we've got 2 principles, we're doing 2 books. Before I share the next book and bring Mitch Jaworski on, I do want to remind you of the importance of masterminding and business. This year is me and my business partner masterminding about 3 months ago. He and I were sitting around my kitchen table here in Florida. I flew him down. Right? We flew him down. He did not want to get on a plane, but we flew him down. And Dorina caught some pictures. Some were very serious moments. Some were very fun, lighthearted moments. Building your business is not going to always be the same vibe. But if you build it right, you get to do it with people who you care about, and you get to wear the same shirts with them and go out to lunches. So without further ado, let's give Mitch Jaworski a big round of applause for the book of the week.
He hasn't read
Wow.
this one.
I love that you're giving me that round of applause. I can share a book I have read. It's
Going back to
Guide
Mitch,
Investing in
going back
Rental
to Michael
Properties.
Shine. Mike
As
Shine,
much
the
as I
holistic
love Sam
attorney.
Zell, and I loved his
Well,
podcast interview on the Tim Ferriss show, where he did cover a lot about Am I Being Too Subtle? I have not read that book, so I think Mike has. If he hasn't, then it's all you. I'm
Mike
happy to
has
talk
definitely
about
read
Sam
that
Zell,
book.
though.
hey, I love Sam Zell. So
Sam Zell's awesome.
Sam Zell, Am I Being Too Subtle, is an amazing book. It's about a guy who was an immigrant, Jewish like I am, and he emigrated from Poland, had nothing. And by the time he passed away, he was a multi-billionaire, just recently passed away. Super inspiring, shows a lot of courage, and just a great book about not having fear and just going and getting stuff. And I also love it because he has an amazing partnership in there with one of the guys that works with him. So Am I Being Too Subtle? Geez, if you want to talk about a book that'll just get you amped up, pumped up, without, being like Grant Cardone, yelling at you. Sam Zell is just like, wow, this guy just took the bulls by the horn. And towards the end of his, I learned about him because CNBC would have him on for like real estate stuff. And Walter, I think you and I looked up all the different places that he owned, like huge swaths of real estate, like San Francisco, LA, New York, big markets. And it's called Am I Being Too Subtle by Sam Zell. Thank you.
Yeah, he built a big publicly traded real estate investment trust.
Great. Yeah.
Just huge success over his years. So we every single week do these books because, well, a lot of knowledge is in those books. Now, knowledge is power. And I've said this often, knowledge is just a battery. It's like if you had a Tesla battery sitting on the driveway, that's about what knowledge is. It's potentiality for action, but it is not action itself. It is not a result itself. It is simply power. And so you got to take that battery, you got to put it inside of a vehicle in order for the vehicle, the battery, to have any use or purpose or utility. In fact, we talk about this all the time in the crypto space, that most of the coins are just shit coins with no utility. Whereas real estate has a utility, it has a purpose, it has something that can be done with it. So all of your knowledge, if you put it into a vehicle like real estate, you end up having the ability to go somewhere. Now, knowledge and real estate, like knowledge in the vehicle itself, again, will do nothing for you without the driver, without somebody who knows where they're going, without somebody with a direction, without somebody with a purpose and intention to take that vehicle out of the driveway and maybe rip it into the highway and go somewhere really far to take you into a different space. Show of hands if you understand, maybe your car has been sitting in the driveway, right? If you knew it was real estate, maybe it's been sitting in the driveway. If you had the knowledge, maybe it's been sitting in the driveway charged up. But it's up to you to get that car, get inside and decide where it's going, decide where you're going to go with it, decide how many pictures you're going to have on your wall of accomplishments, or as we like to say, names on deeds, right? How many deeds will you have your name on? How many deeds will you own by the time your journey is finished? How many will you be passing on to your children, your family? Now, at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we're going to make a goal this year. And we're going to do the same thing we do every year. We're going to build your business plan for an entire year. We're going to give you the millionaire strategy plan for the year. We're going to sign the millionaire contract. This is something that we do every year at the 100 Millionaire Summit. We're going to sign a contract, a self-contract, by the way. It's not with me, it's with you. And only you know what you put on that contract. But the contract states that if you ever get disappointed or sad or somebody's picking on you, you just remember that you're a fucking alchemist and you get your shit done. And that contract is very powerful. Show hands if you already signed one. If you know what the millionaire contract looks like, know what it says. It's very inspiring. It's a powerful document. And the words, from what I learned, is that if you sign a self-contract, it increases your odds of accomplishing a task by 20%. And as we've learned from Stephen, if you build a business plan ensures you increase your income, double your income by increase your income by 35%. There it is, 35%. So we're going to be doing your business plan with you at the summit. We'll be doing the millionaire contract at the summit because I like unfair advantages when it comes to building 100 millionaires. We've built 24 confirmed, and we'll be reviewing our community over the next 3 months to find out who else has popped across the barrier. who's gotten across that millionaire threshold. We'll be doing some research, some reviews. You'll see some surveys coming out. There'll be some one-on-one questioning to identify if you've made it, if you're close. If you are close, we are going to push you over the threshold, just like we did last year with Ken Hoffman. He was $50,000 away. And we figured it out. Mike Shine, myself, a couple of other people put our heads together, and we found a way to get him well over the $1 million threshold. And this story was the same thing with Jonathan Mello. We did a little evaluation. He didn't think he was there. And then after evaluating his business and assessing his business, we discovered that he was well over the $1 million threshold. So as we're going through and we're having these conversations, please keep in mind your net worth tracker is going to be very important for you. Be tracking your net worth. And also, I think the prices have already gone up on the 100 Millionaires Summit tickets. So now is the time to sell them. Before there were, early bird specials, don't mention it to anybody. But now the price has gone up. Now I'm totally fine with you letting people know we're 131 days out to the 100 Millionaires Summit. So we know what day it is. Get your vacation time now. Tell your family you won't be around. Prepare your business. Let them know you're going to be gone because we're going to max out next year. In 2023, we're setting the plan in place. The reason we do the summit before the end of the year, before New Year's Eve, is so that your plan is already set in stone, set in place, so you can start letting people know what you're going to be doing in 2024. Show hands if you understand. We're setting our 2024 goals at the 100 Millionaire Summit in 2023. We're starting to work. We're getting it together. This is not a year of compromise. This is a year of taking action, of getting to that next level. So for the summit attendees, here's a little reminder of what we did last year. And for those of you who are...
I'm sitting in a room where there is over $1 billion sitting in that room. And not just because of one person.
He makes millionaires. This guy is phenomenal.
Gualter talking about, I have this deal doing X, Y, and Z. I said, who is this guy? I need to meet him, and I'm gonna be just like him.
Gualter is like taking it to the next level. It's not that hard to be a millionaire. You just do, and I'm like, shit,
Last year's summit to this year's summit. Well, number one, I became a millionaire. So that's the difference between last year and this year. Community-wise, it's grown, so that's a big plus. So many different cultures, so many different religions, and they're just united as one, an alchemist.
The millionaires, they're just people. But what's really powerful is they're willing to lend a hand and say, hey, where are you going? What's your goals? Let me help pull you forward. And that's huge.
Gualter didn't just help people, he referred me to a lead, which I made $100,000 last year. So I'm just here supporting him, saying, hello, what's up to my guy, Gualter Amarelo.
You guys rock. The help, the knowledge, the different things that Gualter puts out there to help you level up. It's amazing. There's no community like that.
One of the biggest takeaways that I got was when Heidi mentioned this one line, and she said that becoming a millionaire is actually a symptom of who you already are.
The sooner you start, the sooner you'll get to where you want to go, and the sooner you'll have however much time left. Time is the one thing that we cannot replace.
This is a team, this is a family that says we're going to help you where you are, and we're going to get you to where we are. This program is amazing. It's like the family I never had.
So we're just going to make sure that some of our community in Orlando is aware of the situation and making sure that if there's anything you need, they're going to make sure that they're more than giving and more than aware, and if there's any financial costs, we'll make sure we cover it. Sound good?
So I'm the newest millionaire of the Alchemist Group. I just had to get around the right people, in the right environment, with the right knowledge, and get the right team. Investing is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. There's people that in this group that want you to succeed. They're gonna help you. They're gonna loan you money. They're gonna give you resources. They're gonna give you your staff to help you.
Hey realtors, this is super legit. You should come.
This is the best thing you can do for your future you, and your future self will thank you. You will meet the best people, you will become the best person. Give yourself a gift.
If If you want more, be around the people that also want more.
There's other people around me. I'm surrounding myself with the right people, and that's giving me the biggest aha moment right now.
And so valuable, and vice versa as well too. So I would recommend this event to anybody.
It really makes you want to just like run out and implement everything.
Mitch Durfee, yeah, that he said you change your expectations for appreciation. Man, it was mind-blowing. Just some powerful stuff.
If you're not a millionaire, you belong here. And if you are a millionaire, you belong here too, because you'll take it to the next level. Get your ass here!
It's pretty cool meeting everybody, learning a whole bunch of stuff. It's changing my mindset, definitely.
I've learned and unlocked a different power inside me that I can now use to pretty much accomplish any task, any obstacle.
Surround yourself by the right people, and I can guarantee you that if you put into it, it will get back to you.
Definitely, I advise you to come and change your life for the best.
Everybody in the community is so cool. Like, they're so friendly, they're so welcoming, so inviting. Like, everybody wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to share their experiences with you. Everyone wants to know about your experiences, and they all want to help you. Like, everybody is holding hands and walking through the fire together. It's super cool.
Really top-notch people that attended the event. And so we're just very, very blessed to be invited and be a part of this 100 Millionaire Summit.
I was telling my friends that years ago, build your connections. And after a while, I stopped building my own connections. So now I'm here rebuilding that. So I'm very proud of that. Very happy about that.
You just have to come. Like, you just have to trust the word to come. Like, just do it.
It's helped me refocus, re-energize myself. 100 Millionaire Summit will get you on the right train, on the right track, and you will get to where you're wanting to go faster and more efficiently than anybody else can get you there.
Give all of our millionaires on stage a big round of applause. I know what we're asking is not always easy. I know it's not easy to go out and ask for money, to ask for deals, to call the next person, look for property managers, to find out what's going on in your market. I know that as things are shifting, you're having to educate yourself and you're starting to level up, and it can be exhausting. I get it. And I know that this past few years have been pretty different in real estate. If you were a flipper, I know I got friends who who've lost a ton of money in 2020, 2021. I also have friends who did very, very well. Ron and I have done freaking fantastic. Mike Shine's done fantastic. In fact, most of the people in Alchemist Nation have done absolutely amazing. It's only the people outside that seem to have gotten hurt because their strategy has been different from the one that we use. Our strategy is very consistent. It's very simple. We buy at a discount. Show of hands if you understand. We buy at a 20% discount. Every purchase at closing, we've got equity. We also do value add improvements. So we make sure we buy something with room to improve. Typically, we improve 10 to 20%, which means within 2 to 4 years, we've got an additional 10 to 20% equity in our properties. Let's call that 40% equity because of how we purchase the property. We make our money on the purchase, not on the sale. We make our money from how we choose to finance and fund that building. Now, over those 4 years, we raise rents. Let's assume we raise rents to 7%, which is average. That is an additional 11% because of the cap rate, 11% of equity in the building over 4 years. Now, if the market goes up, which these past few years, it has gone up extreme large amounts, but the average amount should be 5% per year. Over the last 40 years, that's what it has been. And so if the market goes up 5% per year, yes, we could be in an equity position of 71% at max. But if the market drops and it goes down 20%, which is what the market typically will do in a correction, 15 to 20% correction, then it's possible that we're only in, at worst, a 30% equity position. Mid-range, it could be 50%, but at best, if the market doesn't drop, then we would be in a 71% equity position because of the way we purchased and the way we manage. And that investment model puts you in a very good position. We never over leverage. A lot of the assets out there who are losing their shirts over leverage. They took out more than the property could handle because it will go up in value and we'll sell it. Show of hands, you understand? We commit to never over leveraging. Yes, that's what makes us wealthy. That's what keeps us going. Show of hands. Also, before I ask you to show hands, We also never sell in a down market. We do not sell properties for a loss. It's just one of our rules. We'll just hold the property indefinitely forever until there's a profit, which is why I'm able to say that after 14 years of real estate investing, I have never, ever, ever done anything other than make money on a property. I hate the idea of saying lose money on a property, but I've never lost money in real estate. I've only ever made money on every single transaction because we never sell. Right? If I know I'm going to lose money, I'm not going to sell. I'll just hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Let it cash flow to the point where I had one property where it looked like I might lose, so I held it for 3 fucking years. I was doing a flip. It didn't work out. I rented it. I've only made like $100 a month for 3 years, but then when I sold it, I got all my money back. It was a small return on investment. I think I made $25,000, but the idea was, I didn't lose money. Show of hands if you can commit to following these processes. Right? We make our money on the purchase, not on the sale. The sale is just where you find out how you did. The sale is just where you discover what happened or what didn't happen. So I love doing Q&A sessions. I know our mastermind is meeting today at 12 o'clock. So everybody who's in the mastermind and the mastery program, we will see you at 12. You can go get some lunch. You got all the time with us starting at 12. And you and I will go deep into your strategy with the mastermind. For everybody else, now's your chance to ask some questions while some of the millionaires hang out. We'll probably hang for another 10, 15 minutes. Anything we don't answer today, you can drop them into alchemistnation.com. Go to the website, drop it out there. And also, if you have not taken your millionaire path and found out what your millionaire path is, you can go to yourmillionairepath.com and answer the 6 questions and find out how long it will take you to be a millionaire. And by the way, you can choose 1 year to 20 years. Don't choose 20 years. Don't choose 10 years. You have a range between 1 and 5. You've probably already heard me tell you what the 1 year strategy would be. So choose something realistic for you. But if you do want to become a millionaire in 1 year, show hands if you know the strategy already. I've said it 100 times. If I said it 100 times, I said it 1,000 times. Who would like to hear it again anyway? Want to be a millionaire in 3 months? I'll show you the strategy. All right. Step 1, identify a property that is worth $5 million. Step 2, put an offer in on that property for $4 million. Step 3, request seller financing or take over the existing mortgage with a subject to. Step 4, close. You now have equity of $1 million in that property. Show of hands if you understand the philosophy, the strategy. It works. And if you question whether it's possible, Ron and I did it in 60 days. We went and we purchased 24 condos for $840,000 with none of our own money because we used hard money, and then we raised $300,000 to take care of the rest. Mike Shine, by the way, was $50,000 of that raise. Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. He was in on that deal with us. And then the property closed 60 days later for it was appraised at $2.4 million. In fact, Sharon Mendes was right there when I raised the $300,000. I was in the Boston RIA. I went up on front of the stage and just said, hey, this is the deal I got. And she watched the people come over and help invest with us. It is not easy, but it is simple. The strategy is very simple. It is a simple strategy. Are there emotions that will come up for you? Absolutely. Are there fears that will come up for you? For sure. For certain. Are there things that will happen that you'll want to, like, you'll be sweating, you'll not want to be there, you want to crawl out of your skin? Yes. You know, whenever I get in front of a stage and I'm like, hey, I got a deal, like, who wants to lend me $300,000? I freak the fuck out. Like, I don't want to be that guy. But every time I've done it, I get it done. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works later on. But if you stay in the game long enough and you keep doing the right things, eventually it works, whether it's now or later on. Show fans if you understand, you got to show up. Yeah, you got to show up. You got to take action. You got to do the thing. So without further ado, let's give Stephen Beaver a big round of applause. Stephen, can you control the Q&A session? Make sure everybody gets heard.
I know I can control it, but I'll certainly help move along. So what is it that is stopping you right now from achieving more? Just put that in the chat. What is it that's stopping you right now from achieving more? And then for the brave, and by the way, the brave are the ones that participate the most, because the person that participates the most learns the most. They set the mind in motion for We're doing the hard thing, which is why we're going back and forth on easy and simple right now. Everybody's right about this. It is easy and it is simple if you've done it. And so you've got to go ahead and start doing it. And because the brain is working overtime, that's what's hard. The brain is working overtime trying to connect those connections together. But Michael Shine is nothing, but I'll challenge that because Vinny has 1.6, might not be your goal, but we're supposed to hang around more people. So find something that you can do it. I'm with you, Mike. Same thing, Gualter. Well, Gualter, I know you. Okay, we have bigger goals now than when we first. You have much bigger goals now since we started talking. So, what's stopping you? It's. I would say time is stopping you right now. And what we need to do is we need to consolidate that time. Work more or work smarter. I would say. My mindset, awesome. That is great. Our success is inevitable. It is, as long as you, and I set it up here, I'll put it down here, paste and go. As long as if you want more, you have to become more by learning more, taking more actions, and getting those results. That's the way you do. Now, I will reverse that, and I will argue with myself. You don't need to learn more. You just need to know what results you want and start taking action. And then you'll figure out what you don't know. So don't let learning stop you. Everybody lets learning stop you. So anyway.
And one of those actions is asking a question. If you don't know, like, ask the question. That's the next step.
So what actions do you guys need to take? Just that's a great one, Dina. What action do you need to take? Dina, you're unmuted. Go for it, girlfriend.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I think the first action I need to take is get my mindset right and then go find that property that Gualter just talked about.
Awesome. How long is it going to take you to get your mindset right?
It won't take long. I'm really pretty much there.
How long?
Oh my God. You really want a day figure?
Yeah.
Let's go.
1 day.
1 day? Why so long? What are you going to do for that whole day, 24 hours to get your mindset right?
Okay. I'm going to read the Alchemist Manifesto. There you go.
There you go. Read that. And then as soon as you finish it, go to Craigslist and look for property. I don't care where you go. And put an offer in. Use Gualter's super secret calculator and put that offer in. Okay. You're a realtor. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
That's legal, right? I know it is. I'm going to pick on somebody else that I haven't picked on in a long time because I haven't seen her in a long time and I really like her. We've had the conversations. And also, she has the same name as my daughter. Well, the first name anyway. Natasha.
Hey.
Hey, what is holding you back? Lay it on me.
So I was on a call last week and I realized I have to unlearn some of what I was taught as a realtor. If I want to do these big money deals, I don't need to think about proof of income. So I'm sort of in that loop. Like, how do I move forward if I don't need proof of income and pre-approval? And that stuff is what's tripping me up.
That is awesome. So I will argue with you first. You don't need to unlearn anything. You just need to relearn the right things, and they will overwrite the wrong things. It's like a river. You know, it's going and it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. If you want to change that, you get another river that's going this way, and you stop the flow on the first river. This river will start to cut into it and make it. So don't worry so much about what you've learned that's wrong or inaccurate, let's just say, or not helpful. Start quantum physics states what you pay attention to happens. So start paying attention to those things that you need to do. And all of a sudden, it'll happen. And like they were saying earlier, it will manifest. You start saying, Gualter always says this. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Dina, after you make that offer today, because you're going to read that manifest today, post it somewhere that, hey, I just made an offer here. Don't be a secret agent. Let everybody know. Okay. Let everybody know. Same thing, Natasha. Just I know you. You are a smart person. But smart people, they're too smart, right? Be a dumb person. I only know how to make offers. I only know how to make offers. And then somebody's going to get it and you're like, oh, and then guess what? You have a whole community here. You just go in there. Hey, I got my offer accepted. What the heck do I do now? Don't worry about it.
Tell everyone. Awesome. I mean, whenever you submit an offer, tell everybody. Like, this is Vinny's strategy. I've been hanging with Vinny for a long time, and well, not a long time, just about a year now, right? And every time he submits an offer, I know about it. Every single time he submits an offer. Now, very few of these offers get accepted. But every time he submits an offer, he's like, I just submitted another offer on a property. Look at this. The numbers could be huge. The cash flow is going to be ginormous. We're looking at a 25% internal rate of return if it gets accepted. And he's like, I'll keep you in the loop. Like, that's every single time he submits an offer, he lets us know. He's like, get your money ready. Get your money ready. We might be there.
Yeah. We find stuff on Craigslist, just to say, Sharon, also another awesome person, how to find properties. They're all over the place. You can go to Facebook and get wholesalers. Oh my gosh, got to be careful, because if they get I've got one guy that he spams every day on Facebook. He's got something. Something's going to stick, and don't worry about it. If it's, Mike, go ahead. Listen to the master.
No, I don't know if Gualter said this because I was distracted for a second, but the meetups is where I found all my stuff. Show up at this event, tell people in the chat what you're looking for, make connections. Your network is your net worth. Just keep talking it up. And as you talk about what you want, those deals will come to you, and then take inspired action. Like, we talk about manifesting. It doesn't mean, even with like Esther Hicks, you can't just sit on a couch. Like, but what happens is things will come to you. Like, I wake up in the morning sometimes like, holy crap, I got to call Mitch, or I got to call Gualter. There's something. And so take that inspired action, and more properties will come to you.
I got
meetups.
I got to vote for Mike's response there. If you're looking for property, be at the meetups. Be in the networking events, especially the real estate networking events. That is, like, I can't say, I don't know if I've ever gotten a deal that didn't come from a networking event.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I learned a quote a long time ago. It's about farming, not hunting. Okay, so if you go to an event and it's like the first time, oh, nobody talked to me and nobody engaged with me. I had a drink and I wasted money on a $10 drink and I left. That's the way that was my attitude. But once you realize it's about farming, so you show up at that event again, and you show up at that event again, and then suddenly after like the third time, people start saying, hey, good to see you, Sharon. I remember meeting you last time. And then the fifth event, it's like, Sharon, and you just keep talking about what you're looking for. And by the 10th event, people are going to be like, hey, Sharon's looking for properties. These are the type, and it's about farming. It's not about hunting.
Mike, that was perfect for those slides that I pulled up earlier too.
Yeah, right? I see the seed. Planting seed.
Plant the seed.
Well, exactly. You got to let that grow,
gardener.
Right? The network effect. It takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. You start networking, and then a year later, you're like, how do I know all these people? How do I have all these connections? And it's because of what you did over the course of that year. It doesn't happen at the first meetup.
That is awesome. I am pulling up right now my acronym for farm. You should be getting it here. When you're talking with someone, talk about family and friends first, then acquire information about their relationships, what they can do to introduce themselves, then make a synergy partner. FARM, farm.
Roland, I saw you unmute a little while ago, brother. Go ahead.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So I have two deals that I'm working on right now for an investor. One is a $16 million 90 unit complex here in Tampa, and the other one is a portfolio of properties that is currently being sold for a little bit over $1 million. So I'm looking for potential investors to partner with my investor on the deal. They have the credit, but they definitely don't have the down payment money. But they're good investors, and I think it'll be a good deal for an investor to partner with them on.
Yeah, man, drop it in Alchemist Nation. Just put the details of the deal, pictures. If they got a package put together, just drop that in there with a link to it. And as a start, all right, if somebody is interested, jump on a call with them and let them know. If they're looking for raising capital, my suggestion is go back to the Be the Bank training. You were on many of those calls.
Yep.
Start teaching tax strategies, insurance strategies. Start teaching asset protection strategies. Just how to like protect money, insure, and advantage money to taxes. And if you teach those things, you're going to start attracting people of high net worth, because broke people don't give a shit about any of that. But rich people, that's all they care about at this point. It's about protection of assets, insurance, and avoiding taxes.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because that is a cornerstone of my business. But what I find is that that's very confusing for investors. Because a lot of them don't think that far ahead. And so I think part of the challenge that I'm having is getting the message in front of the right audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the high net worth individuals are easy to find, right? They own real estate. You go on to the public record, they own a bunch of real estate. Those are the folks who need the most education around taxes, asset protection, and insurance. And it's typically going to be busy business owners who haven't had the chance to go and get those consultations. And sometimes they just want to hear the same stuff that they've heard before, and just in case you have something new. But yeah, you definitely, I mean, give Eventbrite a shot, give Meetup a shot. Like doing the live events definitely is a great way to attract them. Just know that there's far less of them. So you end up having, you won't have big rooms, right? If you're teaching courses like that, you're going to have small rooms. 5-10 people is totally like a huge turnout if you're looking for high net worth individuals. Show of hands if that makes sense. They only make up 1% of the planet. So if you're trying to get like a big room, you go for broke people, right? You want where are leaders at? Who here runs an event, runs a live event in person? You want to fill your room, teach wholesaling, or teach how to buy real estate with no money down. Either one of those, and you'll have a ton of people in the room. But if you want high net worth individuals, teach taxes, asset protection, and insurance. And you're going to find that you'll have like 2-3 people in the room, but they're quality 2-3 people. They're high net worth. It doesn't take, all it takes is one person to invest $1 million with you, have $1 million to invest. It doesn't take a lot of people investing $1 million to do some big deals. Show of hands, we understand. It's a different class. You're not looking for volume, you're looking for quantity. It's like Mike Shine says all the time. It's the quality of your network. Right, your network is your net worth.
We've got Mitch that's going to have to unmute because he said something really brilliant on there, but I would like him to expand on that. Concentrated bets are for making money. Diversification is for keeping money. Because you used the word bets, that red flagged me, and I had to read it. And now that I've read it, I'm like, ooh, okay. I love to hear this, because it's not a red flag as in bad. Red flag as in caught my attention, right? So, Mitch, do you mind before you give us the wrap of the week?
Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll just use that as the wrap line of the week. We'll turn it into one. Well, I put that in quotes because I actually got that line from my CPA, who is also a fellow crypto investing buddy who also owns real estate. So he's in all the things. And I guess him and I are of like mind, so to speak. Maybe he's willing to be a little more aggressive than me, but that little mantra took hold for me because I've actually always been very good at diversifying. I'm actually very good at keeping money. I don't generally lose money, but on the flip side, I make money more on a grind, or like a former self used to. Now I know how to make concentrated bets. Obviously you can say concentrated investments, but the reality is, I mean, every investment at the end of the day is a bet, right? You're betting on an outcome, right? You have a risk, you have a reward. In real estate, that risk reward usually is a better proposition, so to speak, in terms of the risk profile relative to, let's say, like just outright buying like tech stocks. But at the end of the day, if you go back to a wealth principle that we've covered this year, and it's put all your eggs in one basket and guard that basket, that essentially is the concentrated bet, right? Because if you want to build wealth quickly, right, you don't do that actually with diversification, because by diversifying, you're like, not only are you mitigating a risk, but you're also flattening out your potential returns, because what's going to happen is some investments are going to perform well in some markets, some investments are going to perform not as well, right? And that is the point of diversification. It levels things out, like, so you keep your money, as opposed to if you go all in on one thing, when it works and you get paid. I think enough people know about Mike Shine and Tesla, so I'm sure he won't mind me calling him out. Mike Shine was, all in on Tesla years ago, and he was buying Tesla stock hand over fist, and he was right on that investment. And that investment was one of the concentrated bets that helped level him up to another, plateau, so to speak, that then he could start doing other things that he, is in now. So that's really what it is. It's that, put all your eggs in one basket and guard the basket is the concentrated bets portion of it. And then when you are right, because you're going to be right at some point, right? I mean, think about The Founder, right? The movie The Founder, right? Ray Kroc, he was in his 50s when he finally got the McDonald's things right. And I remember in the movie, there's the scene where he's like holding the soil and he's like, just be right this one time, just be right. Right. And he was, and he was all in on that. And that obviously propelled his wealth. So the bottom line is, you're going to be right. And it may not be the first time, it may not be the second time, but when you're right, you want it to basically be a game changer. And again, it goes back to me personally. I resonated with that quote because I've been right a lot over the last 20 years, but I didn't have enough in the game where it was life-changing money. It was life-changing return, so to speak, in terms of, holy shit, I made like a 400% return. I crushed it. But at the end of the day, the dollar amount wasn't life-changing because I was very diversified. So there's a time to be aggressive. There's a time to be diversified. And that is different for each and every person. So you got to decide, where you're at in your journey, what you can afford to do, and what risk you're willing to take. And I will say this, for anyone that's under the age of 30, that's exactly when you should be concentrated on whatever it is that you think is the investment or the business or whatever it is, and go after it. Because if it doesn't work, you have all the time in the world to do it again. And the bottom line is, most successful business people have gone broke, if not once, twice or more. I went broke twice. The last time I went broke, I was 31. I don't plan on being broke ever again because I'm well diversified now. And also, I didn't start in real estate till I was 35. So that's another reason I never plan on being broke, because real estate is the most forgiving investment you can get, and especially rental properties. And that's why I always tell people, I was like, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to have success in real estate, as opposed to some other things where you got to be like really intelligent. So anyway, that's my random rant about that comment. A little long-winded, but you really just need to look at it that way and, decide where you're at, and then decide what is that vehicle that's going to get you to where you want to be, and just freaking get after it with that vehicle. And then once you get that money, then you diversify.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I'll say about that.
Big round of applause. Go ahead, Gualter.
It goes right back to what we say in Alchemist Nation, is that you do not diversify until you made your $1 million. Hyper focus, stay focused, one thing, put all your eggs in one basket until you've earned the right to diversify. I see it too often, especially young kids. They diversify, they do this, they'll do this. You do that for 20, 30 years, you end up with nothing, right? If you diversify for 20, 30 years, you end up with literally nothing. But if you hyper focus for 2-3 years, you can end up with something pretty massive worth diversifying and protecting. Let's give Stephen Beaver a round of applause. He runs a lot of training on the back end. He is helping us scale out Alchemist Nation across this country. We're looking to put 300 locations in the United States. These are cities with 100,000 population or more. So every major city will have an Alchemist Nation business and real estate professionals network running. Our goal is to do it in the next 30 days, and we'll evaluate if we can pull it off. If we can't, then it will be the next 30 days. The idea is we win this battle by continuously fighting and putting up an event every single day for as long as it takes to get to 300. Show of hands if you understand. We're going to do whatever it takes. So we are currently looking for leaders of these events, people who have the mindset of abundance, people who have that alchemist mindset, want to serve others. We are looking for people who are willing to coach. So if you have a coaching background or a financial background, and we don't currently have a leader in your city or a city near you, then we're very interested in having you on board. You can send a message to Brian Schilling, and he'll make sure that you get connected with the right team builder. So our team builders are out there putting these together. So let's give Brian and his team a big round of applause. All the team builders, they are very, very, very hardworking people, and I would say they're very productive. So this week we did change a lot in Alchemist Nation. So if you're looking to start your own team, it is very affordable. We've made some serious changes, and we've added some serious benefits. If you want to find real estate, you want deals, it's almost better to be the person who runs the event than to go to other people's events. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more work to starting your own event, but that's what Alchemist Nation's for. We do all the work for you, or at least I said we'll do 90% of the work for you. You still got to show up, and you still got to be a decent human being when you show up. Show of hands if you understand. Be a decent human being goes a long way. Absolutely. Help others get what they want. Learn to love dealing with large amounts of money and the people who have it. Next week, we're going to be back at the same time. I know 4th of July is coming up. Yes, Saturday at 10 a.m. We will still be here doing Wealth Principle 29. And for each of you who hasn't already gotten your tickets for the summit, now's the time to upgrade to VIP or executive. I believe there is a 48-hour sale running. So it's a flash sale. Something happened and the sale flashed on. So you got 48 hours to grab tickets at some sort of ridiculous price that Dorina thought was really cool. So cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. See you next week.